Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this particular video guys, I'm going to be showing you how I made this lovely corset, three-piece corset. As you can see how lovely it is looking, how it lapped on my body, how it covered my bust, how everything is fitted and well matched and everything. And you all, my subscribers, my returning subscribers, you all are deeply appreciated. Please, if it's your first time into my channel, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notification bell for more updates, and do well to check out all my videos. And equally, I'm going to be leaving the link on how I drafted the pattern for this corset under the comment section. You can do well to check out my other videos. From there you're going to see how I drafted this corset and even other lovely styles I've been making. So you can see different ways I rock this corset, and if you're really interested, stick with me to the end of the video. So guys, into the video proper here, I have my already cut out pieces, okay, and I've added all my seam allowances just like I explained to you when I was drafting it on the pattern, that I'm going to be adding the seam allowance on the fabric. So you can see exactly how I added it. Half inch on each side, and then by the side of the corset I added 1.5. That is just how I made it. And then equally on the cutting of the bust, the pad, that is the bust pad or the wadding, I have added half inch. So you can see I was able to retrace this particular the first part of the cup. I retraced it into another, but then I just used the both of them anyways to cut it. So I can use the one below, I can use the one above, but the one above is fragile. It can peel out as a result of the gum there. So it's best to use the one below, for safekeeping. So guys, now I'm getting the midway. So that is 3.5 exactly my bust palm, and the other side is 4. So if you follow exactly how we drafted this pattern, you will know that the front side, that is the side coming to the mid part of the bust, is the 3.5, then the one going to the side is 4, because that side is bigger. Okay, so I've marked everything, I've notched it to meet each other so that there will be no confusion. So I'm also going to notch this particular one. Okay, as you can see the mark in the middle. So this is to avoid confusion. All these notches are to avoid confusion when I'm joining, because I want to ensure that everything comes out perfect. You also want to ensure that everything comes out perfect, and you don't want to make mistakes. So for the pad, see what I used. I made use of a hard pad, okay, one hard pad and one soft one. Okay, for the first layer I used the hard pad, then for the second I use a very soft one. So when I mean hard, I mean not too hard, okay, and then the very soft. Okay, so I just want you to understand. So that is for the first layer I use the not too hard pad. Then the second and the third layer I had to combine it so that it will have this fullness. I don't want it to come out flat. Okay, so that is why I use it. So this is the back and this is the front, and I'm just going to go ahead and place it together so that I can iron it with using the gum stay. Okay, so that way. So for the first part you can equally use the same method, okay, but I just wanted to maintain this method on the second and third part, that's on the second and third layer. Okay, so but for the first layer, which is the first part, which is this long part of it, you can equally add a very soft pad to it. It's also very nice. So maybe in the next one I'm going to make, I'm going to use everything like that, so everything will come out perfect. So as you can see, I'm applying my gum stay. So I will just go ahead and iron it, so join it together perfectly and without any mistakes. Okay, so that is what I'm just going to do. So this pattern of making pad is also very nice. If you don't want to make use of the hard pad, like that hard wording, that hardest wording, that one that is very strong, you can go for this one. Okay, this one that is not very hard, that is more, it's like medium but it's not exact medium. So guys, as you can see, I finished joining it, and you can see how standing it is. It's really lovely. Trust me guys, this is not camera work. As you can see how deep it is, it's standing firm. So I joined it and I was able to trim out the excess remaining so that it will come out well. So as you can see, the downside, the second and third layer is a little bit doubled, and the first one is just with the normal. So like I said, you can apply the same method on all of them. So as you can see, this particular cup is really lovely the way it is. Yes, and with this you don't even need to stress much. Like, your cup will never come out flat after making this, because I've seen some cups after making everything comes out flat. So now I'm going to be fitting the fabric exactly to the cup. So fitting it perfectly to the cup, so that I will go ahead and use my gum stay and iron it out first. So I will iron it out, and after ironing it out, I'll stitch it round. So just follow exactly what I'm doing, and then you're going to come out very well at the end. So in case you've been finding making corset very difficult, I know that corset is not really easy. It's a bit stressful and complicated, but when you understand the step-by-step guides and everything, you will just come out fine. You will just be surprised at what you would do. Okay, so this is it. I'm make sure that when you are joining this, you start hemming that they are matching, like the number 1, number 2, number 3, everything is fitted. Remember, the number 2, which is the smaller part, that side that have to be in the midway, that is the one of 3.5. Don't forget that have to be pointing towards the mid part of the bust for the 2 cups. So take note of that when you are sewing it together and when you are ironing it together. So if you are not careful, you might end up mixing it. Okay, so as you can see already, I've finished fixing everything properly, making sure that it sits properly and firm. So I'll now go ahead and iron it, and after ironing it, I will sew it round. But I'm not going to be sewing it with the 1/2 inch I have left. The 1/2 inch for the seam, that is the same allowance I added. I'm going to be sewing it with just like 0.25 or 0.35. Okay, so that way you will just keep the fabric and the cup together and firm. So guys, as you can see, I finished ironing and sewing it. This is the outcome. Everything is looking equal, and in case there's any excess, do well to always trim out. Okay, do well to trim out. So you can see how our cup is still standing. I finished ironing it already, and the cup is still fine, very fine. With this one, like I said, there is nothing like flatness on your cup. Your cup will come out perfect using this method. So there are different methods, but this one is also very nice, and I really like the outcome of it. Okay, so you can go ahead and try this method of padding. It's also very nice. So I'm just going to go ahead now and join the panels of this wonderful corset. So I'm just going to join it straightforward. Okay, please, like I'm saying, I will say again, please do well to watch this video patiently before you go into making yours. Okay, so that you understand it. There are some things you might not understand, or you might just think you already see what you wanted, especially the part of the cup, the part when you are joining the cups. That side can be a bit they can be trickish if you're not careful about how you iron your cup and making sure that everything comes out perfect. Okay, so I'm taking measurement for my piping, that is for the bone. Okay, the pipe, I'm going to be using 1.5 inch. That is the wideness I'm going to use. I'm going to correct this 1 inch to 1.5 inch. Okay, so that is exactly the wideness I'm going to use to make this pipe or boning pipe. I call it boning pipe, I don't know, or boning bias. Please don't mind the noise in the background. It's just a little noise out there. Sometimes you don't just know how to do it with these noises. Okay, so I'm also going to go ahead and join the back side. So I'm going to join the back side, joining it perfectly, exactly the way it's supposed to be. And then after that, guys, as you can see, I'm through with the joining and everything is lovely. It's looking nice. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and start sewing my pipe or my bias or my bone. I'm just going to go ahead now and start joining them. Okay, so I would have gone ahead to fold this in and iron it, so that I will just place it and stitch on the 2 sides. But this particular fabric is a bit it's kind of crepe and it won't relax while ironing it, so I'll just use a different method. So just pay close attention, you will see the method I will use. Okay, So I'm going to be piping on all these points you see me place this particular fabric. So, and this is how I'm just going to pipe it. This day I'm going to go ahead, and I have 2-inch left here, and then in the middle is I've divided it with a straight line. Remember, I would have gone with a more easier method, but this fabric has refused to iron, so I have to use a more difficult method. So this half inch now I'm going to be taking out is what I'm going to use to join for the bust, so that I will know exactly how to pipe. So this my pipe, I'm going to create it to be a little bit bolder. It's not going to be thin enough because the boning I'm going to be using for this is a bit wide. It's not too thin, it's not the thin one, it's more like a wide one. So when I'll be fixing it, you will see how it looks like. So I'll be making this pipeline a little bit wide. Okay, so at the end of the day, it might end up eating even the little space there. Okay, so as you can see, I'm pinning this. So I'm going to stitch exactly on this point you see me pin straight, then I'm going to fold it like so as you see me do, and I'll stitch on top. Okay, so this exact way is how I'm going to make this pipe. Okay, so that is the method I'm going to use to achieve this pipe. So as you can see, this is 3.5. This is the front, the side facing the bust, the mid bust, and the other side, this is the number 3, that is 4-inch. That side is going to the side bust. Okay, so that's why I said when you want to join this, when you want to start sewing anything, this from sewing the wadding or the bust part, if you be very careful, because the places when it's going to affect you will be here when you want to start joining it. So now after I finish adding my pipe, mind you, I'm going to sew my pipe round first. I'm just showing you exactly what I'm going to be doing in the machine, because I know I will not be showing you step by step again. Okay, so I'm just going to go on now and pin and sew. So guys, this is exactly it. So as you can see me already, so I believe I've taken my time to explain what I've done. So you can see that our pipe line is a bit thick, it's not that slim. Okay, that is because of the kind of boning I'll be using. So you can see our cup sitting comfortably, and here it is, our lining. So you can see I even have to number it while joining it, because I don't want to hear a story. I'm telling you, if you're not very careful about this part, you might end up messing up your bust cups. Okay, so be very, very careful about that part, this particular part of the middle. Okay, so guys, making sure that this particular one is fitted the way it ought to be, I'll go on and join just the upside, just this upside. I'm going to join it. So after that, I'm going to bone. I can see how wide my bone is looking, is a bit wide, so that's why I have to make a more wider pipeline, or more wider boning pipe. Okay, so that is it. So this is exactly what I'm going to be doing now. So I'm going to make sure that even as I'm fixing this pipe, I will leave space for the ½ inch I'm going to use to join by the side. And I'll go ahead and trim off like 1 inch excess from the zip point. Okay, that point is supposed to be the zip or the rope point. Okay, and then so this is it. I finished turning the upper side. As you can see, do well to top stitch your bust. Don't forget that part, that is top stitch the upper part, so that you will keep the lining inside. Okay, so I'll just go ahead now and fix my bone. So this particular boning is a very flexible boning. Okay, I actually bought this when I went to the market, so but next time I'm going to be working with the more stronger one. So I'm marking the point I'm going to cut out from this boning. Okay, so this one is quite flexible, and I really didn't like the outcome of it, though it's really flexible and nice. They are different. You can use it even for your bust. Some they are like what they call bust caging. Okay, you can use it when you're making a pad for bust caging, you get. So it's very flexible, it's very flexible. But then I'm going to be trying the other kind of boning, the other ones at like the mid part of the bust. It didn't lap the way I wanted it to move in. I wanted it to, you know, give me a division in my bust side. I don't know if I'm the only one thinking that way. Okay, so but it's actually very nice actually. So I'm just going ahead now. On this side, I'm going to trim out 1 inch like I've told you before. So I'm going to trim out 1 inch. I'm still going to take in 1 inch also when I want to make the loops. Okay, so because this particular back needs enough space. Okay, so if you finish making your corset, creating your corset, make sure that the back has space for tying. You understand? Make sure that it doesn't it's not too close to each other. So make sure it's spaced enough. Let me say at least maybe let me just say like 4 inch wide, at least like 4 inch wide space, so that when you want to tie it, it will help. It helps a lot. It helps the corset a lot. Okay, it helps a lot. Okay, it helps a lot. So but that doesn't change the fact if you didn't cut your corset cup very well, it might still end up coming out gaping. So that is why you have to be careful and make sure that during the drafting of the patterns, you will cut your corset cup very, very well so that it will not gape. Okay, so that it will not gape. So once your corset is fine and everything, once the back is intact the way it's supposed to be, you tie it, you realize that it's fine. But if your corset is not well drafted, the bust is not well tightened the way it's supposed to be, even if you tie the back, no matter what you tie on the back, it will still not come out nice on the side, because the cup will be how will I put it, it will be loose. Okay, and it might make you to want to keep adding more and more space at the back, which might not end up being nice. Okay, so guys, that is just exactly how it works. So I'm just giving you guys these tips in case you'll be finding yours difficult. Maybe things like this could have been contributing. So I've been able to make my ropes for the loop, and as you can see, I'm just going to go ahead now. After fixing my boning, I'm going to join the downside, and I finished joining it already, and I'm just going to go ahead now and turn it in so you can see the outcome. So guys, mind you, I've not really taken my time to iron this. I'm just sewing straight, so I'm still going to iron it. You can see how lovely it looks already. I am loving the outcome. It looks so fine, so portable, so loving, and so stylish and all that. So now it is time for me to add my back loop. So it's time for me to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to be moving in 1 inch again, like I told you. So you notice at the end of the day, I moved in 2 inch on this side and 2 inch on the other side. So how I'm going to move in 1 inch, I'm not cutting this out, I'm folding it in. So I'm folding in the fabric, and I'm equally folding in the lining by 1 inch in. Okay, so that is exactly what I'm doing. So making sure that they lap properly, I'm going to go ahead and pin it down. Why I'm doing this is because I don't want to have too much sewing, like sew here and sew here and sew here. I just want to do everything at a go. Okay, so after I finish pinning it down, my lining is a bit stubborn. I don't know why. It's just okay. I think it's because it's too soft. When you're making yours, do well to get yourself a cotton lining if you can afford it though. If you can't, just go for this one I'm using. It's easily affordable, and I believe with this you already got exactly what you want. So it's there for you to get practical, to be creative with yours. Okay guys, so the first way I'm going to measure this on how to apply my loop is I'm going to come down by 1.5. But I'm going to be using 1/2 inch for the first loop. Okay, just 1/2 inch for the first one, so there will be a loop on the first beginning part, that is the edge. So from that particular point, I'll start coming down by 1.5. Okay, so that is what I'm just going to be measuring, the 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. So guys, I've measured it all the way down, so I'm just going to go ahead now and fix my loop. So I'm going to be using 2.5 for this loop. Okay, so just follow my actions in case you also find maybe you find yours difficult on how to get the actual loop you can use. 2.5 is very okay and is accurate, so that is what I'm just going to use. So with it, you can get a stitching allowance and equally a space for the loop, and you don't want your loop to be too pointy outside. Sometimes it just needs to look straight. So guys, I'm joining the loop now. As you can see how lovely it is looking. So I'm fixing it. So I'll fix it and I'll pin it down. So exactly the way I'm fixing it and pin that is how I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and I will just sew it on a straight line. Okay, just like not half inch, let's say 0.35. Okay, 0.35, making sure that the line passes through the loops. Okay, so that is just what I'm going to do. That is what I'm going to do now. So you can see the final outcome of this loop. You can see how lovely it is. So I'll just take it now to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch it down. I will apply the same on this other side. So guys, this is it. Our corset is ready. We are through with this lovely corset, and I've done some ironing already. So you can see that this particular loop I cut is a little bit short. I'm going to go ahead and make a more longer one. Okay, so it's a little bit short actually, because when I wear it, I might have to need more space, especially if I'm wearing it by myself. If it's too short, to wear it by myself will be even more difficult, but if it is long, it will be more easy. So guys, if you have enjoyed this video so far, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notification bell for more updates, and please don't forget to check out my other videos. Thank you and see you in my next video. Bye.